One of Hollywood's most recognizable and tough action performers, Charles Bronson was renowned for his unpleasant silent attitude in roles that captivated the audience. Bronson, a former coal miner, gained fame as a mysterious and intensely secretive personality. However, beneath his tough appearance in Hollywood stardom was a very private life filled with both tragedies and victories. That's a tough life as well. Yes, you can have a privileged tough life and an unprivileged tough life. Discovered by Jill Ireland, their love story was undoubtedly one for the record books. But unlike fiction, it didn't finish as planned. If you're wondering why, then stay tuned today as we explore the untimely passing of Charles Bronson and his wife, and how his legacy endures to this day. Charles Bronson was born in Ehrenfeld, Pennsylvania, on November 3 RD 1921, as Charles Dennis Buchinsky. He was one of 15 children born to Lithuanian immigrants. Young Charles even worked in coal mines to help support his family because the Buchinsky family was struggling financially. Both on and off screen, Bronson's character was influenced by his tough working-class upbringing, which gave his performances a genuineness that few actors could equal. Like many other first-generation American children, Bronson claimed that his family had no sense of English sounds when he started growing up. He also claimed that despite being a soldier, his accent was so strong that his fellow soldiers believed he was a foreigner. Regardless of the fact that he could speak English, he could also speak Russian and Lithuanian. Bronson was his family's first high school graduate before joining the U.S. Army Air Force in 1943. During the dark days of World War II, Bronson worked in mines. He then served in the 760 the Flexible Gunnery Training Squadron. In 1945, he served as a Boeing B-29 Superfortress aerial gunner with the 39 the Bombardment Group's Guam-based 61 St. Bombardment Squadron, which flew combat missions against the Japanese home islands. He survived 25 missions, and after the war was over, he was awarded the Purple Heart for his combat injuries. After World War II, he came home with a renewed sense of purpose after serving as a gunner. He soon took on odd jobs before acting. Bronson was hired by a Philadelphia theater group to paint landscapes and eventually started acting in small roles. Due in part to the anti-communist feelings of the time, he changed his maiden name from Buchinsky to Bronson and started pursuing an acting career. Later, he shared an apartment in New York City with Jack Klugman, who would also become an actor, and eventually he proceeded to Hollywood to study at the Pasadena Playhouse. Charles was left adrift until he finally discovered a new purpose in the form of traveling actor's education and career. Obtaining no credit, Henry Hathaway directed Bronson's first movie, You're in the Navy Now, in 1951, in which he played a sailor. He reportedly got the role because he was the only actor who could vomit on command. Bronson also starred in The Mob and the People Against O'Hara in 1951, both of which were directed by John Sturges. In 1952, Charles Bronson became a well-known actor in the 1950s, starring in a number of movies such as Battle Zone, Pat and Mike, Bloodhounds of Broadway, and Diplomatic Courier. He starred in Red Skies of Montana and The Marrying Kind, and collaborated with renowned filmmakers like Henry Hathaway on My Six Convicts. After boxing Roy Rogers on an episode of The Roy Rogers Show, Bronson became well-known on television. Additionally, he played the part of Cauliflower McPug, a boxer in a sketch with Red Skelton on The Red Skelton Show. Bronson also co-starred with actor Lee Marvin in the espionage series Biff Baker, USA. Bronson portrayed Vincent Price's helper, Igor, in Andre de Toth's 1953 horror film House of Wax. Bronson learned American Sign Language in order to prepare for his silent persona. With more than 23 million, House of Wax was a massive hit. Because of its cultural and historical significance, the Library of Congress decided to preserve it in the National Film Registry in 2014. Born Charles Buchinsky, Bronson changed his stage name to Bronson in 1954 after being influenced by the Bronson Gate at Paramount Studios. Because the Buchinsky name sounded suspiciously Eastern European, it was affected by the anti-Soviet feeling of the time. By the late 1950s, Bronson was making a name for himself. Bronson reappeared in supporting parts in movies such as John Sturges's war drama Never So Few. Bronson reunited with Sturges in 1960 to play one of the 7 gunfighters defending a village in The Magnificent Seven. Despite receiving a modest $50,000 salary, Bronson's performance became famous, and the movie became wildly successful in Europe. The Library of Congress declared it to be culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Bronson continued to appear on television throughout 1960, appearing on programs such as Laramie, The Islanders, and Riverboat. He further solidified his place on the small screen with a recurring part in the second season of Hennessy. He has starred in a number of films such as Richard Donner's X-15, A Thunder of Drums, and Master of the World. He starred in One Step Beyond and The Twilight Zone in 1961, gaining more recognition. His guest appearance on General Electric Theater even earned him an Emmy nomination. The Great Escape, a World War II prisoner of war drama directed by John Sturges, was Bronson's breakthrough performance in 1963. With the $11.7 million box office receipt on a $4 million budget and a Golden Globe nomination for Best Picture, the movie was a triumph. The movie is now regarded as a classic and became one of the highest-grossing movies of the year. When Bronson started starring in European movies in 1968, his career took a dramatic shift and he became well known outside of Hollywood. French producers noticed him while he was shooting on Villa Rides and wanted to work with him on Adieu l'ami with Alain Delon. The movie, which was filmed in Paris and Marseille, was a huge hit in France, earning over $6 million and launching Bronson's career in Europe as a major leading man. Sergio Leone's spaghetti western Once Upon a Time in the West, which sold millions of tickets in Italy, France, and Germany, was another noteworthy triumph. The movie was later chosen as a historically significant work to be preserved in the National Film Registry. In the early 1970s, Bronson's Hollywood career was still thriving, and he started working well with director Michael Winner. Their debut movie Chatto's Land was followed by others. In the 1974 film Death Wish, Bronson played Paul Kersey, a New York architect who becomes a vigilante following a family tragedy. Despite being criticized for its graphic material, the movie made $22 million and made Bronson a well-known action star. The popularity of the film paved the way for 4 follow-up films over the next 20 years, solidifying Bronson's place in the action genre. He became the face of justice for many viewers. Bronson starred in 2 of filmmaker Tom Grease's 1975 productions, Breakout and Breakheart Pass, a western adapted from a book by Alistair MacLean. In the same year, he played a street combatant during the Depression in Walter Hill's film Hard Times. Roger Ebert praised Bronson's portrayal as one of his most definitive, and Hard Times was well received. Bronson was the 4th biggest box office attraction in the United States by 1975. Bronson kept playing a variety of parts, including his first appearances with director J. Lee Thompson in St. Ives and the 1976 Western comedy From Noon Till 3. He received plaudits and multiple award nominations, including a Golden Globe for Best Television Movie for his role in Irvin Kershner's 1977 film Raid on Entebbe, based on a true story. Throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, he worked with Thompson on a number of additional movies. Bronson and Lee Marvin played long-standing rivals in Death Hunt, which was based on a true story. The New York Times described Bronson and Marvin as seasoned pros who gave their characters substance. Bronson was considered for prominent roles in Escape from New York and Superman in the late 1970s, but he was eventually passed up. He starred in a lot of action movies during the 1980s, especially with the Studio Cannon films. His reputation as a tough, gritty action hero was cemented when he returned to the character of Paul Kersey in Death Wish 2, which was followed by other sequels. This pattern was maintained in movies like 10 to Midnight and The Evil That Men Do, where Bronson regularly portrayed tenacious protagonists seeking justice. Later, Bronson broke away from his typical violent roles to play Union leader Joseph Yablonsky in the 1986 movie Act of Vengeance. He made a significant change in his career by not carrying a pistol or getting into any violent altercations in this movie. Critics praised Bronson's portrayal of Yablonsky for being honest and for demonstrating depth beyond his typical action parts. Bronson was a very private person despite his notoriety. He maintained a guarded demeanor and rarely gave interviews. He carried the pain of his challenging upbringing into his lucrative Hollywood career. Despite his wealth, Bronson was said to be quiet and reserved, frequently avoiding watching his own movies. He was resentful of individuals in the business who had ignored him in his youth, and he was frequently blunt in his dealings with the media and co-workers. According to Roger Ebert, Bronson had a genuine advantage over other performers. He looked as menacing in person as he did on television, giving him a unique on-screen presence. Bronson had a significant influence on film and was a memorable figure in Hollywood history due to his ability to play tough characters. Although Bronson's career took off, meeting actress Jill Ireland also had a significant impact on his personal life. According to reports, Bronson fell in love with Jill, who was first married to his friend David McCallum. He apparently boldly declared to McCallum, "I'm going to marry your wife." As promised, Bronson and Ireland got married in 1968 following the dissolution of Jill and David's marriage. Their union developed into one of the most famous love tales in Hollywood, with appearances across many of his films. Jill Ireland emerged as Bronson's muse, and their relationship was indisputable. The couple's love of family and desire for success brought them together, and they shared a great deal of affection and understanding. They formed a close-knit family by raising 7 children together. Bronson and Ireland maintained a modest profile despite the glitz of Hollywood, putting their family first. Her breathtaking beauty and charming personality undoubtedly helped his image, which shone a light on his life. Bronson and Ireland were extremely successful. She and her husband were one of Hollywood's most powerful couples until they received some depressing news. Unfortunately, they suffered a terrible hit from life. Jill Ireland received a breast cancer diagnosis in 1984. Throughout her difficult struggle, Charles Bronson was there for her, showing unshakable support. After undergoing multiple surgeries and therapies, Ireland wrote about her experience in the hopes of encouraging others. Her written story, Life Wish, became a source of inspiration for many people facing similar health hardships. Sadly, Jill Ireland died in 1990 following a protracted and agonizing 6-year battle. According to reports, Bronson was devastated and felt the full impact of her passing. His family and friends said he was a man who had been changed forever. His life transformed once Jill passed away, and he started to withdraw from the limelight in Hollywood. Bronson kept acting after Ireland's death, but he wasn't ever quite the same without her. He was unable to fill the vacuum created by the loss. In 1998, he married Kim Weeks, a singer and former staff member of the Dove Foundation, in an attempt to rediscover happiness. But the once dominant action star suffered from age and illness. Bronson's health started to decline in the late 1990s. He had Alzheimer's disease, which affected his memory and cognitive function, and he needed a lot of care in his latter years. After his wife Jill passed away, he constructed a hollow cane in her honor because it was specially made for him, and he safely buried her ashes inside. To honor her contributions to the film industry, in 1991, Jill Ireland received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The television movie Reason for Living, the Jill Ireland story, was based on her memoir. Bronson continued to be the quiet, powerful person his fans loved even in his latter years. Charles Bronson died on August 30, 2003, at the age of 81 following pneumonia-related complications. For Hollywood, his passing signaled the end of an era. The demise of a celebrity whose passion and on-screen persona had made him a cherished icon was mourned by fans everywhere. Charles Bronson's passing was more than just the passing of an actor. It was the goodbye to a man characterized by fortitude, love, and an unwavering spirit. Even though he did have his biggest break in the film industry, it was finding Jill Ireland that truly changed his life. It was quite unusual for the actor to show even a small amount of emotion. But even the most resilient people can fall for romance. He was unable to cope with Jill Ireland's beauty and spirit, so he let his defenses down. Their collaboration will undoubtedly serve as a reminder of one of the most cinematic partnerships Hollywood has ever had. His death certificate lists respiratory diseases as the primary cause of death, though pneumonia and Alzheimer's were contributing factors. At the time of his death, film critic Stephen Hunter said that Bronson radiated male life force, stoic toughness, and strength. He was buried in the Brownsville Cemetery in West Windsor, Vermont, with a cane containing Jill Ireland's ashes, symbolizing that the two are together even in death. Hunter claimed that although he was never a terrific actor, he was an expert at subtly controlling a scene. Bronson was the man who never quit, never complained, and got the job done. His nobility was all the more evident because it didn't have to be put into words. In 1974, Bronson told critic Roger Ebert, "I'm just a product like a cake or soap that will be sold." He understood the business side of his fame perfectly. Charles Bronson possesses a trait that makes the motion picture camera react due to his strength displayed on the screen. Though he may have passed away, Charles Bronson's legacy and significance are far from over. His style has had a significant impact on the action genre, especially on topics pertaining to morality and justice. His depictions of complex characters presented a much deeper sense of masculinity that held the audience's attention. This effect is still present today, as many contemporary action stars owe their careers to Bronson's example. Fans from throughout the world admire the legacy that Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland left behind. While Bronson's films continue to inspire performers, Ireland's candor about her fight with cancer helped raise awareness. Their love story is still a tribute to the strength of commitment, demonstrating that some stars never really go away. Of course, the unadulterated passion in some of his films and their gripping stories are major factors in why he remains a timeless force in film. Jill Ireland was more than just Charles Bronson's wife, and he was more than just a crude guy in Hollywood. They created an enduring love tale together. Many prospective actors find inspiration in Bronson's life, as his journey from poverty to wealth serves as motivation for those with ideas.